You don't see any copies of Gray Merchant or so forth. And just play some white control cards.
All right, he's playing against Cory Radke's green-white aggro deck. We are underway with Game 3. Tragos has a turn 2 Bioblight, keeps the board clean. Looks like Radke does not have another land. He plays Soldier of the Pantheon, and we may see if we'll see if Tragos can pull ahead right now. It doesn't look like he can at the moment. This green-white deck from Radke, we had one of these in the top 8 last weekend as well. Got a little bit of a bump up with the printing of Sunblade Elf. It's a 2-of in the main.
Yeah, Sunblade Elf's a nice addition to this deck. You know, it's going to be a 2-power 1-drop in most games, just like Experiment 1 and Soldier of the Pantheon and so forth. Also has the upside of when you flood out and get to the late game, it's just another extra piece of value. You see cards like, you know, Mistcutter Hydra, Fleecemane Lion fulfill that role. Getting that out of a 1-mana creature is really nice.
All right, so hits come here. Peter Tragos had the 4th land in a Desecration Demon, hoped to stabilize on it, and Radke responded with a Banishing Light. But now Tragos has Bloodbaron of Vizkopa, a card that Radke's deck has very few, if any, answers to.
It's basically Advent of the Worm, or Boon Satyr, or Bust, it looks like.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have any of those in his hand right now. He makes Voice of Resurgence. He's still on 3 lands. He has a Fleecemane Lion, a God's Willing, and what I think is another Banishing Light. But now the 8-point life swings start as Tragos connects with Bloodbaron and follows it up with Elspeth, Sun's Champion.
And this may be the nail in the coffin right here.
Yeah, and this is really where black-white mid-range differs from your normal mono black deck, is that its heavy hitters hit real hard.
And this is another deck that, again, gets a pretty significant upgrade from Caves of Koilos, because having double white for Elspeth on time is something this deck struggles with from time to time. Or it has to play some copies of Orzhov Guildgate or something like that to make it reliable. Now you just get to play the 12 dual lands, and it's pretty easy to cast on time.
Yeah, we'll see here. Elspeth does draw that Banishing Light that was in Radke's hand, but he is still under pressure from the Bloodbaron of Vizkopa. Like you said, he's going to have to find Boon Satyr or Advent. If Tragos is aware of that, he may even have time to play around those once he sees mana up. But until then, we'll see he's going to sign in blood himself. He's probably going to chip away at Radke's life total.
Sign in Blood, another upgrade potentially for these decks, or Mono Black Devotion now with M15.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of players saying, you know, they think this is an upgrade to Read the Bones. Black-white midrange is already a deck that was playing Read the Bones over Underworld Connections in a lot of situations, so Sign in Blood just seems like a natural fit for the deck. You see Tragos is on 4 Sign in Blood, no Read the Bones, no Underworld Connections.
It depends kind of the, I mean, in general, I like the cheaper spells as much as possible. And Read the Bones into turn 3 Hero's Downfall or turn 3 Banishing Light is a really powerful opening.
Yeah. There are Underworld Connections in the board still for Tragos, but none of them in the main anymore. And yeah, Read the Bones is just out of the 75. All right, and Mutavault joins for Tragos. And Pack Rat made for Tragos. And there's just a lot of, we see the Boon Satyrs there to possibly answer the Bloodbaron on Radke's side, but he's just been on 3 lands for a while, and Tragos now has pressure in other places too.
Pack Rat is also a huge beating on green-white strategies, especially when you get to this spot. If we're talking about turn 2, sometimes the green-white deck can race, even that's not a guarantee, but sometimes it can race. When you get to this spot where there's other things going on in the game, and Peter has a lot of mana to work with, it's really hard to beat.
Yeah, like this turn he can make 2 additional Pack Rats and activate a Mutavault if he wanted to. The Rats are already at 4. He's going to go ahead and swing everything. Boon Satyr's flashed in by Radke, so he's going to get, looks like he'll get that Bloodbaron if Tragos wants him to. Tragos has a Doomblade at the ready. And no sense in letting, really, Radke do anything. He happens to Bioblade. He has both the kill spells.
Yeah, no reason to mess around here.
Yeah, so between this, with his Doomblade, he has the second answer to Bloodbaron covered 2. And he should win on the next swing. All right. Voice of Resurgence blocks Pack Rat. He's going to discard that Hero's Downfall to make another Pack Rat.
Not a great sign for your green-white creature deck when your opponent's discarding
Yeah.
Hero's Downfall on turn 9.
And he Doomblades the Voice token as well. So 3, 6, 10 damage.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Not good. Tragos, 2-1 defeats Cory Radke, and he moves to 3-0.
Not a lot to say about that game, you know. Cory stumbled a little bit, and Cory's draw was one of those things where if Peter was on all removal, he might have been able to slog through. He had a lot of creatures. He had a God's Willing in his hand, but he was really soft to just Blood Baron into Elspeth. He didn't have enough of a board when those cards started to come out, and that's just not a board that green-white can catch up from once it gets into that spot.